everyone. My name is Laura Hopkins, a teacher, instructional designer, and training and development specialist. Today, what I'd like to share with you is actually how to use Canvas, which is an amazing learning management system that you can create courses in for your students. And so, with that, we're going to go ahead and dive in. What can it actually do? So, as you can see on my screen, I'm already here at the Canvas homepage where you log in. So, to be able to create an account, you actually can get a free one and as a teacher or as a user, and you can actually log in with your email information to go ahead and get started. So that is what I'm going to do as we dive in. So as you can see, this is the Canvas dashboard where you can store your courses. This is where you can start a new course. You can view grades and keep track of your students. Over here to the left, you see dashboard, your account, your courses that you've made, a calendar, an inbox if there are students responding to you and emailing you about coursework, anything about history, commons, and of course the help desk. If you need something and it has a little cute chat, little AI chat box right here where it has a little panda. It's really cute, and you can go through the guide if you were looking for something in particular. But for this demonstration, I am going to show you a course I've already made in Canvas to show you its capabilities and what you can do when you actually build a course for this demonstration. So as you can see on my dashboard, I have something called Pair Assessment Basics because this is the course I made for new teachers on how to use this platform for our school district. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. As you can see with Canvas, once you have a script and you know exactly what you want to do, this is where you start building it. So if you were to click on new course, it will ask you for a home page, for announcements, a syllabus, the modules, the pages, everything is on the left-hand side to build the way you want to. And actually it's really great integration features, which I will show you in a little bit. So as you can see with the home page, of course you can add pictures from Google, Pixabay, anything that requires something free that you can use that didn't have any copyright issues. Of course, you put in what your title is. What is your training going to be about? And then down here, what is great course development is to actually introduce your course. Tell your audience who are you and what are you actually going to train them or teach them about. In this case, as you can see, pair assessment basics, this is all about student assessments for student data tracking and performance. So that is what mine was. As you can see down here, it's also another good practice to have a course description. Again, what is your audience going to do when they log into your course and actually take it and show progress? So you want them to know what they're getting into ahead of time. I'm going to go to the left over here and click announcements. As you can see here, this is where I posted my announcement. You can add one if you want. You can search to see what other announcements you have in the system for all, or if there's other courses that you are using in here, and you say mark as all read. There's so many ways you can do this. As you see that it's an announcement, you actually can reply to it. So if I were to click on reply and pretend I'm a different student, my announcement will show up, and then I can, as a student, reply to that professor or trainer or whoever's in charge of the course. So as you can see, it says learners will utilize the tools within the platform to develop a student assessment to share with colleagues. Learners will also analyze student data reports for future interventions for student improvement. As you can see from my announcement, I also have learning objectives or learning outcomes that I want my learners to learn through this platform. And so this is wonderful to help your students and what they are going to dive into. Of course, any course like this is not complete without a course syllabus. What are all the goals? Again, all the goals and objectives you want your learners to know about. And then how are they going to be graded? So as you can see, I have a course description from the front of the course that I already created but posted here. Again, I have instructional goals and objectives where these I have already storyboarded. I have planned out a way ahead of time to make sure I know what I want my learners to gain from the course that they're about to take. And your objectives might not be as extensive as mine. It depends what platform or what area you are trying to teach, but I know with mine I needed this much, at least four different type of sets of objectives to make sure they understood how to do each section of the course and what was expected of them. As you can see in the syllabus, we do require text where we go over what would you need. You can link it in here into Canvas if it is like a website, like in this case for pair assessment. If there's a link to an ebook you want your students to click on and review, or at least you can copy and paste the title of the book and where to buy it if that is necessary for your course. We also have computer technical requirements that are listed here. What do they need in order for Canvas to run smoothly on their computer? And of course, all the assignments and how they will be graded. This is also another critical piece of a syllabus and the course development in Canvas because what you set here is how you do your assignments and your quizzes. And that's based on what you create in front of it before you create the rest of it. So it's always good to map out your point values and how much are you going to put into your course and what the total point value is supposed to mean at the end. As you can see, after the assignments and the grading, I also put in here what percentages and what possible points you can earn, and what is the grade that you can actually earn from this course, just like a trade school, college, or university. It is also great practice to have a late submission policy. What would you do if the student does not reach out to you and they fail to still complete the assignment? What would that look like? And that is always a great thing to tell your learners up front. And of course, near the very end is a topical outline where it introduces everything the student is going to learn in every lesson and what is going to be covered. So this is really excellent, especially for any type of learner to help them keep track of their learning. And down here, there's a course summary from the teacher side where you can click on these items, which we'll view in a few minutes in each lesson module, to where you can begin where you're supposed to. You can also set a due date if you were to really assign this to that group of people or those group of students. You also can do that like a regular college course as well. Over to the left, I'm going to click on modules so you can see what those look like. Okay, so in the module section, what you would do here is that you would click the plus button and say plus module. When you do that, a new one will show. So I pretend I'm going to say this is a new one and I'm going to say edit. And so you tell the module name and then you say assign to who you want it to go to, and then you say requirements and then you add the requirements. What is required of this for your students? And what do they need to do in order to get there? So once you add that and click on it, this is where you can actually edit further into your module and all the information that you need. So obviously for the welcome, we put welcome, about me as the instructor at the time, the course description again, all the instructional goals again. This might seem a little repetitive, but you definitely got to put it everywhere because some students don't read the home page. They dive right into the modules. And this is very beneficial to keep putting it back on them to make sure they realize, okay, I am really going to learn about these objectives, these things in this course. So it's very important to put it in places that are meaningful. As you can see, it says what's next. And so it's always wonderful to tell your learners where are you going in this course? What is the navigation for them? Because they'll get lost. They will click on anything because they'll start wherever they feel like they need to start. And this is a lot better to keep them on track so they don't get lost in your instructional materials. So again, at the bottom of this page, I'm going to go ahead and click next. When I do, you actually can add discussion posts in here, like a Blackboard, for example. And so in Canvas, I already have a discussion board already posted here where a student could click reply and reply to this. But these are wonderful interactions with students, especially online, because you want them interacting with each other. You do want them talking to each other because they're not in a classroom, they're at home or in another public place doing their coursework. And so you want to try to make this as interactive as you can. So this is what a discussion post looks like. Again, you can unsubscribe, you can unpublish it. When you're done, you can edit this to go back in here and type in what you want your learners to do. Again, next. This is the lesson overview. This is everything. The introduction, the course level objective, what again in this part of the lesson, what is your learner going to accomplish? Again, it breaks it down further into bite-sized learning objectives, so that way your learner knows where we're going. Canvas also allows you to embed your own YouTube videos wherever you are doing instructional design work. And so you can also embed this in here as well and show them through screenshots, through your own dialogue and your script, how to tell your learner how do you actually do this so they can follow along and stop and rewind it as many times as they want. Down here, this is just my own personal practice. Even though there's a video, I also do screenshots and give them a step-by-step instructions on how to reach this in their school district, because I get it, videos are wonderful, but sometimes you need a little extra help on what are you visually looking at. And I did all this through just screenshotting my computer screen and using Paint to do all the boxes and the arrows to help my learner understand where are you going step by step in this process. And so this is something else that I feel is a great practice, especially if you are new to instructional design or to course development. It's just easier for them to read. And as you can see in Canvas, it does an amazing job of making it very clear and how you can type it in and make it very effective. And then once your learner gets to the end of this lesson one, again, please make sure you put next steps. Again, help your learner navigate the course. They are going to need your help because this is all online and you're not in front of them unless you do something like I'm doing right now and walk them through it live. But if you don't have that capability or that is not what they need, this would be a better option for them so they can still read it, watch it, and see where they need to go next. So next, again, this is another lesson one discussion where they can still talk about for at the end of what they've looked at. What did they learn from it? Why is this important for people to know? And how does this help students in using peer assessment to track student data? So this is just something, again, to spark their interest in conversations online. Again, next, Canvas is also amazing how you can put in your assignments. This is up to you based on your course syllabus. What do you want your students to do? So again, I told them because this is like it's a technical tool, educational technology type of tool. And so I wanted them to prove to me, can they do this? Can they make their own tests? So again, it doesn't have to be paper and pencil or an online Google form or document. You actually can make it interactive and where they have to produce something for you. So then you can check to see did they get it or not. In my case, they had to do a rough draft assessment and pair assessment to let me check it to see did they understand lesson one. Also put instructions, how it's going to be graded, and the summary at the bottom of how are they going to turn it in with the point value. Again, all these tools are in Canvas where you can edit and go in here and add what you want, your criteria and the point value, and how much it will be at the end. This is all up to you. This is your amazing product. So this is how you would do that, is go in here and edit and you put what you want. Remember, the course syllabus is important to follow. Next item, which I always love to do in these type of platforms, is to put quizzes after each lesson as well to give it again more point value in the system. And again, Canvas does an excellent job of giving you control. How many points is your assignment? Do you want to shuffle? Do you want to do a meet? Is the correct answers immediately? How many times do they get to take this? And you can actually preview it down here at the bottom. So if I click preview, it will let you see the questions and actually does it one question at a time, and you answer it and you click next and it will show in real time did they answer all of them or not. It even shows you how much time they spent on it. So for example, if you have a student who took over an hour to do 10 questions, that makes you wonder what were they doing. Were they trying to look up the answers? Did they get distracted and leave and then come back? It opens up a dialogue online with online conferencing with students. What were they doing and why did this take so long? And did it because they got distracted or is it because they really know the content and they need help? So I think this is a wonderful feature in Canvas that helps you know what that looks like. Of course, over here to the left, I'm going to click on grades. If I were to give this to my students, I could actually see how they did and what kind of point value did they out of my grade book. So it kind of gives you a really cool feedback on how they're doing and what does that look like. As I click the back button at the top right hand corner, or it actually gives you either the back button or it gives you more information about the grade book. So if you need more information, it's very helpful for that as well. From here, I'm going to go back to my courses or to my dashboard and click on it again because this is all your user interface and how you play with it. Then it goes into grades, of course, people who is enrolled in your course, like who is shared with you. It also does outcomes if you want to show that. If you have rubrics in here, All of these things are here and it can help you create rubrics in this as well. It also has chat, it has Google Drive, it has so many other accessibility items in here. It just continues to grow what you can actually label and put in here. But this is just a brief overview of how you can use Canvas to create your courses and what one would look like. Before we close out this brief introduction to Canvas, what I would like to show you before we leave is how to view it as a student. So when you're in your course and you click on it, let's say it's complete and you have published it and you're ready, but you want to make sure your students can see everything. You actually can click in the top right hand corner, view as student. So I'm going to click on it. When you do, now you're currently a student and you actually can click through it just like them. What does it actually look like? And so they see the home page, they see announcements from a student view where they would go in here and click on it and read it. They can finally see the syllabus, everything that you have created, they will now be able to see. This is a great way to check, is everything working like it should? Are the videos working? Can they see your pictures? Is nothing blocked in the content? And as a student, you can see here's the introduction and then lesson one. Here's lesson two, three, four, and so forth, depending how big you want to make this. And you can look at everything. You can look at quizzes. You should be able to look at their grades as a student. As you can see here, what score did they receive on these assignments and how was it graded and how much points and what grade did they earn based on your criteria? So again, Canvas is another wonderful tool to use to create courses that you can give to your audiences. It doesn't just for college students, it can be for staff. That is wonderful. And believe me, they do like it. Whenever you are done with student view, you'll say leave student view here at the bottom of the right hand side of the screen. So I'm going to leave as a student. And then you're back into your editing area where you can continue to modify. You can continue to make new courses. You can continue to do anything. So I hope you found this really brief overview of Canvas very helpful, and I hope you will continue to either use it if you already are or try it out because it is an amazing platform to help people learn online if you haven't tested it out already. Again, if you would like more short virtual tours of Canvas and how each item works in course development, please contact me at laura.hopkins14@hotmail.com, or you may look for me on LinkedIn where we can connect and continue to develop amazing courses and e-learning together. Thank you for joining us and hope to see you next time.